Good evening. I'm Juan Gordon. I'm just here to give you a brief update on the meeting yesterday, which was a very successful meeting, a very informative meeting. I don't know if y'all have heard, we've had a representative of a truckers organization out of Virginia that's been around since 2014 that came down here to give us the information that it took them 7 years to gain. The knowledge that it's took them whole 7 years. You know, we're just getting started. This is from the ground up. We're building this thing, and we got a lot of good information yesterday. So I'd like to thank that brother once again. You know, just can't thank him enough. You know, for one, when I called him and spoke to him, you know, we had a pretty good conversation, and he assured me, you know, that he has our back. He called me like a week before the meeting and said, you know, he was going to attend. So at that point, I said, well, give me a few. Let me get with the coalition members to see exactly what it is that we can do for us accommodating you for coming down here. And at that point, the brother said, no. That's not what it's about. He said, I want to be a part of this. I'll be there. And he called me and told me, you know, he was in town. He would definitely attend the meeting. But he gave us a lot of information. Like I said, they got a lot done in the Virginia port system as far as, you know, getting the things handled that they needed addressed. And that's why we all here. We also had a port representative come out yesterday. And I'd like to thank that guy because it took guts for him to come out there and stand before us, you know, and knowing that, you know, you could be walking into a place where there's a lot of angry drivers. I mean, let's be frank about it. There's a lot of people upset. There's a lot of people that want answers to questions that we just haven't been able to get. So I'd like to thank him as well. You know, so it was a very good meeting yesterday. And if that's how much progress we've made, and this is only the second meeting. Second. You see what I'm saying? The second meeting. You know, I'm not gonna sit before you and say this is something, some grand scheme or whatever that we came up with. It's pretty simple with us. It's pretty simple. There's issues and there's no one for us to talk to. No one for us to express our concerns, our grievances. You know, when it comes to being detained in these ports for a long amount of time, when it comes to the inaccuracies of your turn time that they put on your interchange, because we all know when we enter that security gate, from that time, the driving through that security gate and waiting to get to the scale, you know, waiting to get to the kiosk, sometimes you can sit there for an hour or more. So to go in the port and sit there another hour, 2, 3, some people sat there 4 hours waiting on one move. That's not even including whether they dropping the box or bringing one out. You know, it's gotten out of hand, and it's getting worse day by day. You know, the no pay differential on the weekends, we addressed that as well, and it was brought to my attention that companies do receive money for us moving boxes on Saturdays, and whenever they decide to open on a Sunday, they do receive money for that, but the money's not being put into the driver's pocket. Now we know, and nobody know like we know, that every dime that truck generates needs to be put where it needs to, in our hands. Simple. It needs to be put in our hands. We don't need nobody taking money and say, well, we doing this with it and doing that with it. That's not our concern. Because when those trucks break, your terminal manager will tell you, hey, good luck. See you when you get your truck repaired. You see what I'm saying? So that money needs to go into the driver's pocket. Another thing we talked about is full disclosures, you know, from the companies being transparent, which a gentleman brought to the point yesterday. A lot of us out there who attending these meetings are rail port drivers. You know, we work off of the Go port. which is fine. But there's no separation in a trucker. There's no separation in the trucker that works out of the SC ports. There's no separation. That got to be made clear. You know, some of you sitting back saying, well, you know, those things don't affect me as much. Don't sit back and just wait till it fall on your lap or come to your door. Because what we got to understand is we need those who are being affected now to stand with the ones who are going to be affected later. Because we all need a voice. We all need that seat at the table, that representation to speak for ourselves. Because the company's not doing it. It's flat out. They're not doing it. They don't care. Most cases when it comes to an owner-operator being leased to a company, that company's making pure profit. Whether it's 90%, 80%, whatever. It's pure profit. You see what I'm saying? In my eyes, it's 100%. You know, because they pay operational costs, but when it comes to your truck, anything that happens to that truck, anything happen to you, that's on you. They don't have anything to do with that. So, like I said before, they only gonna take us as serious as we take ourselves. You know, I think, you know, my guesstimation, and I talked to a lot of other drivers, I believe it's somewhere between 1,000 to 1,500 or more trucks that run in and out the city, and we're not seeing that, you know, seeing that amount of people turn out, which is fine, because I understand anything that you're building, anything that's new, it's going to take a while, and you got different levels to organizations. You got some people going to sit back and just wait to see what's going to happen and let it happen, and then you got a lot of people that's afraid, of losing their jobs, you know. But I'm here to tell you, there's nothing to be afraid of. There's no reason for you to be afraid to want to be represented, to want to have a voice. It's something that you do every day. We wake up before anybody that goes in that port, because we got to at least go to our truck and give it 15 to 30 minutes to pre-trip it. So in my case, and a lot of other guys that I talk to every day, we get up 3 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody else up that early that's working in and out that port. You see what I'm saying? There's nobody that has the amount of liability that we carry on our backs when we're traveling to wherever destination we're going, whether it's the 8 miles to go to the rail yard or whether it's 300 miles away and then, you know, coming back. There's nobody else to carry that liability but us. So it's very serious to me. Very serious. I take it very serious from day one. From the first time I came out there, working in those ports, and to me it was a sense of pride of no other to see the amount of people doing what we're doing, whether it's women, men, all type of different ethnicities. It don't matter. You see what I'm saying? We're out there. We work hard. We deserve our fair share. So sitting around waiting on it, that's over. You know, we at the point now where we're going to demand it. Like I said several times, respect is not given. You got to demand your respect. You got to demand it. And that's where we at. And we're only going to make a difference is if we stand together to do this. It's the only time we're going to make a difference. We got to stand together. Another one of the things we also discussed is the fact that, you know, I heard a lot of people talk about the port building their own trucking fleet. From what I've heard from three to four different people is that's off the table. Cool. If it's off the table, it's off the table. My thing is, it should have never been on the table. And if it had been on the table, trust and believe it's still somewhere near the table. All right? So it has me perplexed because I don't understand when I sit back and I read the headlines all about this growth in Charleston, and it's generating $63 billion, a third of South Carolina's economy is what this port generating. They generated that income, and best believe they generated off the backs of trucks. You know, they bring those boxes in the port, they bring them in by rail. The majority of everything moved out of those ports is by trucks. So why Why is it that South Carolina is doing whatever it could do to rid itself of truckers? You know, through this whole thing with the rapid rail, sending rail directly into Hugh Leatherman Port. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, because here it is. We got up, did what we had to do to help you build this, to help you get to where you at, and then you're trying to snatch the rug from underneath us. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. That's something that's, you know, it's a thorn in my side. Another thing we addressed was the inaccuracy of whoever it is, whether it's board members, whether it's the persons responsible for the GoPort system, saying that the truckers are the one that's causing this whole loss of production. It's the truckers. You, me, our wives, our kids, everybody know better than that. You know, every trucker that I talk to every day gets up and go out there to make as much as he can make to do for his family. Every trucker I know. Nobody I know say, okay, well, they give us a temporary pay increase. I'm gonna go out there and just move 4 boxes. I'm gonna go out there and do three turns. You know, BS. We all know that. You know, the port needs to know that they need to deal with their issues, their internal issues. The rail need to deal with their internal issues. Don't blame it on the truckers. Don't put that on us. It's a slap in the face. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you got pride in what you do every day, you don't want to hear that, because you know you're out there working your tail off. You know you're sitting out there in these lines for 2 and 3 hours. You don't want to do that. But then you know the people that's relying on you to bring home the bacon, you got to put up with it. You got to put up with it. So don't say that production is down because of truckers. That burns me up. But this whole temporary pay increase, you know, from the day that they, you know, they set forward to give us that increase in pay, and when they put that word temporary in front of it, to me it's something disgusting. Because if you can afford to do it temporarily, you could afford to do it a long time ago. A long time ago, it could have been done. So I say to y'all, whether you run the rail, or whether you over the road driver, you know, it might not be your issue, but like I said, one day your issue is going to be our issue, and we're going to stand with you. We cannot allow them to change the rate. Period. Point blank. No rate change, because the rate should even be higher than $85. But to say that you're going to draw back on that because the truckers not producing as much because they're getting more money, no, we're not going to allow you to paint that narrative. So, you know, those are things we touched upon. Like I said, we got a lot of things accomplished this Sunday. The next meeting is already scheduled for July 31st, Saturday at 5 p.m. And this time, we have a building. You know, being out in the parking lot, you know, we did that the first 2 meetings, but we ain't doing that anymore. And, you know, we need to understand. We need to come to some type of agreement and understand that in order for things like this to work, what we're doing, it's going to take funds. You know, me, I was reluctant about even bringing it up in the meetings, putting it in the group, but it's just that simple. It's going to take funds. We're not making what we used to make, but we still do pretty good. We do too good to be standing out in the hot sun at 90, 95 degrees, sweating the backs off. You know, we do too good for that. So what we're proposing is just monthly, $25 per member, and that's going to take care of us facilitating a place to have our meetings, refreshments, to have a relaxed environment to get the business that we need to get done. So, you know, that's pretty much the wrap up for this week. We look forward to seeing everybody else out there on the 31st. Let the numbers grow. And once again, Coalition 18 is not a me thing. It's not a we thing. It's a us thing. It's for all of us. Stronger together. Let's keep it moving.